you got a good head on your shoulders, and I know you want to keep stand-up going, as well as a few other guys in the area. So I don't think this is the last they've seen of Jake McDowell running shows.
No, probably not.
You give such good dad motivator speeches. Like,
you are
keep
a
your
good
chin
dad.
up, buddy. You're doing all right.
I do good shit. I do.
You do
I
do
can't.
good
You're
shit.
right.
Your dadding is on point.
You say do.
Yeah, you do.
Good do. Yeah, we're adults. By the way, we're on Spotify. These adults are on Spotify. Yeah. So.
I know you can't see it, but adults was just put in air quotations.
Yeah. Right. We don't hold on to that too often.
I don't mean to interrupt, and I don't mean to bring the happiness of the show down, but I just read a headline, a news headline that said 6 children fear dead after SUV plunged off California cliff. They're feared dead. They plunge off a cliff and they're feared dead. That's what you're going with.
Well, that's the thing.
But
I think
always get like those weird stories. Like after earthquakes, they're like, we found somebody 2 weeks later that had drank rainwater under like 18 feet worth of rubble. So
right. Well,
I think nobody wants to be the one to put in the headline like 6 kids dead.
Well, at the same time, I think you're holding on to the wrong part of that headline.
Go on.
They said these kids are feared dead, which means they're still hopeful they might be alive.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Boom.
Just
positive.
Thank you, Brandon.
Welcome.
I don't know though. I feel like that positive kind of got. Well, I don't want to say crushed. That feels like an inappropriate word for the story.
Trish Gale, everybody.
I feel like hopeful was kind of put to the side when they said plunged off cliff.
Yeah, that's. I mean, like I feel like that sentence doesn't really go together.
Yeah.
No, they could have definitely taken it a different way, and they're like, family of lemmings decide to drive for the first time, go off cliff anyway. Wow.
So I can't even look at those stories.
That went dark.
I still, even a year later, have enough pregnancy hormones pushing through me that, like, anytime I see any news headline that's, like, involves kids, I'm like, boop, nope.
Yeah.
Instant delete.
Yeah.
I will read that, like, 3 years from now when my...
Yeah. I wasn't even pregnant with you, and I still feel that.
So I open up the story, and it says... Crews earlier said 3 children had died and 3 were missing. The SUV plunged 100 feet from an ocean overlook on the Pacific Coast Highway, about 150 miles north of San Francisco. 100 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they probably made it.
See?
Kids are like,
hopeful.
Kids are like little Gumby dolls, though. Like, they're crazy flexible. Like, you can drop them from a pretty decent height. And
although you shouldn't.
Not on purpose. But I mean, like, let's just say, like, hypothetically, it had happened on accident one time that you didn't tell your husband about. And
fuck?
They bounced right back. Like,
That's definitely something you should talk about with said husband. Are you throwing our kids around?
Says the man that chucks them around like they're professional wrestlers.
Into couch cushions.
Maybe the SUV seats were really padded and the airbags went off and they just bounced around like little pinballs.
That would be a hell of an advertisement. Our seats, extra cushioning. Definitely don't go leather from now on.
That'd be one hell of a crash test rating, though. I mean, like, you see those Subaru commercials where, like, they show, like, this completely crunched up vehicle where they're like, they survived.
Oh, God.
Like, whatever that SUV maker can be like, we have a 50% survival rate plunging 100 feet off a cliff if they find those 3 little nuggets alive yet.
In the commercial, they've got a new rating. It's like 5 out of 6 kids. Straight this.
3 out of 6 children will survive a 100-foot plunge off a cliff.
And people watching are like, holy shit, that's a weird statistic.
Although I feel like I have a good feeling about that. Like, that's a big crash. I'm like, I don't know. 3 out of 6 is still pretty good.
Right. It's still a solid rating. So, moving on from dead kids. Or possibly dead kids, I mean. Still hopeful. We're still holding out. Everybody else is definitely thinking that we have lost some children. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that they're just taking a dip. They're just a leisurely swim. Hopefully everybody's all right. I know we're joking, and this is how we cope. Is with making fun of everything. So we apologize. We do hope that everybody's okay, though. That was just a weird headline to stumble on.
Yeah. I mean,
you got anything
it's
more?
It's a weird one to throw out there. Like, if all the headlines out there, we're going to start with that.
We got anything more hopeful, Jacoby?
The Oklahoma. Actually, this is a more hopeful one. The Oklahoma Senate passed legislation to hopefully avoid a statewide strike. Basically, they either I think it said they raised taxes or they allotted taxes to help fund schools more so that teachers don't strike. So, I mean, I don't know what Oklahoma education is like, but I like to think that they're probably not like number one in the nation.
Yeah.
And so anything that helps schools in, a state like that, I think is probably a good thing.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, even if they were the best, you don't want to see any kind of education go down the drain or be at loss. Yeah. So, hopefully they band together and work something out for the better. Because anytime I hear of a school going under or a positive outreach program going under, I'm like, no, come on. Why are we focusing on drowning this when so many other negative things are afoot and floating around? You look like you found another headline though.
I found a few.
Now I'm running out of headline stories because I've been off Facebook for almost a month now, if not a little bit more.
Yeah,
I'm going to actually grab onto the school thing like you were talking about with the education. Like my pretty much entire amount of news I get is just NPR on the drive to wherever I'm going or back. I can't do TV news anymore. There's so much political stuff, and it's just a bunch of people screaming at each other with very little fact or whatnot to it.
Yeah.
So NPR ended up breaking a story talking about I don't know if you guys know this or not, like a lot of teachers when they go to college, if they promise to teach in like a low-income suburb or a low-income school district, and they promise to teach something of actual worth like math, science, English, etc., they get grants. Like basically instead of like having to take out like $4,000 of a student loan, they get a $4,000 grant as long as they, meet the requirements of teaching in the low-income district and doing it for, however long, whether it's 4 years, 5 years, whatever. So they ended up finding like over 12,000 teachers now that had all gotten grants from a place, I think it was called FedLoan via like, the Department of Education, whatever.
Yeah.
And they were teaching in the low-income district. They were doing what they were supposed to do. And, all of a sudden the loan place is like, oh, well, we never got that paperwork submitted. You never put this in or you didn't jump through this hoop or, we found a loophole, and they flipped the grant into a loan. Oh. So now the $4,000 grant they have is now a $4,000 loan that they need to pay back. So, basically it's like, hey, I know you were young and in college and you thought to yourself, what do I want to be? Do I want to make actual money that I can live on? Or do I want to make like $17,000 a year teaching in a low-income district?
Right.
Yeah.
And you chose, the lesser of the two and decided to become a teacher.
Right.
And now instead of, being helped along the way to do this, you're being penalized for it.
Right.
$4,000 for 4 years, there's your $16,000 that they're like, yeah, that's no longer free. We want to get paid for that. Like, whoa, hold up here.
Yeah.
I guess FedLoan just basically said, yeah, tough crap. We told you to do all the things that you needed to do to keep it a grant. And I guess the Department of Education is like, well, I agree with FedLoan that they should have jumped through all the hoops we asked them to. But maybe we'll look into it. Maybe we are kind of screwing over teachers.
Well, and that's the thing. We still have professional athletes that are able to make double-digit $1 million contracts, and we're still kind of giving teachers and anybody trying to help the youth of the future, like all the scraps. Like, that's not fair.
I feel like scraps is implies there's more there than what it is. Scraps implies like you might actually get some flavor out of something, maybe like a whole piece of bacon inside scrap. Like I feel like they get to lick the lid of the garbage can.
You hungry? We're gonna give you the ramen noodle seasoning packet.
Like that would be
not the noodles, just the seasoning.
Well, because I'm obviously, since I'm sure everybody listens to this podcast religiously, you all know I am sadly still unemployed, still job hunting.
Yeah. And,
while I'm looking for any job possible, feel free to call into the podcast with job offers too. Totally open.
There you go. Put my wife to work.
Self-promotion.
There you go.
Well, I figure if Jake can do it, I should probably get in there and hey, find me at LinkedIn. Pass on your scraps. I'm totally scrapping it up right now.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, while I'm out there looking for jobs, I'm seeing I can get a job at a call center. Dialing people to change their cable for more than what a teacher makes.
Right.
Like I'm looking at teacher salaries at $17,000 a year.
Right.
Like.
So people,
not even a real amount of money. Like,
that's why teachers have to teach and then also do Uber on the side or go bartend or they got to work sideline as a personal trainer, that kind of thing. It feels like trying to work through mud at times. And I feel sorry for all of our friends that are teachers and that do work with kids and that kind of thing, because I feel like they're kind of doing a selfless job and just asking for the ability to be able to keep a roof over their head. And the powers that be are saying, we don't look at your job as worth a damn. So
well, I just did the math real fast, and I'm going based off memory here. I want to say it was like $17,825 a year for a teacher job. That's $8.57 an hour.
Jesus.
For a 40-hour work week, which if you don't know, everybody should know. Teachers never put in a quote-unquote 40-hour work week. They're at the school all day, and then they get to go home and grade all the homework and read all the shitty essays that 13-year-olds turn in, that are writing, I can't say Twilight fanfic, but I don't know what the new, appropriate, comparable fanfic would be.
Meanwhile, for an hour's worth of work, that teacher's not even making a full Netflix monthly subscription payment. That's silly to me. If anything, they should be making 4 times that amount.
And then you gotta wonder though,
prove me wrong.
I wonder though, so that's Rock Island minimum wage or Illinois minimum wage, I should say.
Yeah.
So
that's what a high schooler is making. Aside from work or going to school all day and then getting out and working a part-time job.
My kid makes that bagging groceries at the local Hy-Vee. He makes $8.50 an hour and has the possibility, though, of going up to $9 an hour if he decides to become a cashier or a checkout person.
If you need to know everything about our child, the fuck?
But with that, my 17-year-old has a better job than a high school teacher.
Word.
So, honestly...
We should tell those teachers to go bag groceries.
Honestly, I'm just personally surprised more of the school shootings aren't done by the teachers.
Well, if it goes through and like everybody wants to do is give teachers guns so that everything's even, there might be more of that.
Yeah, that's just the thing we want to do is take super underpaid, super frustrated adults surrounded by angry hormonal teenagers and give them a gun.
Yeah, let's give disgruntled adults children and say, get at the kids.
Yeah, isn't that how we got the phrase going postal, was people would go into their post offices and shoot the place up? Not so much anymore now, but...
Oh, yeah. Now, this guy's got Dollar Shave money every month? Fuck this. Click, click.
No, going postal actually did have a beginning to it with it being a thing. People would be pissed off at their job at the post office, go in and fuck some shit up.
Yeah, we know that. The hell? We're smart people.
That's sketchy.
Get the... This is bullshit.